This is a 2-day job involving removal of this old dead cherry and a dead Scots pine. Looking back, I keep thinking there was probably a quicker or simpler way to deal with this cherry, but the methods I used protected the fence and the lawn, and we still managed both trees in one day. I've started using a pole saw more often. Here I'm clearing a path, throwing ropes. We use directional cuts and pulling ropes to direct falling limbs away from obstacles. Because of the angles we'll be felling, a lot of weight will be put on the tension side of a dead hinge, making it likely to snap early. One limb off at a time helps keep the ground tidy and prevents the tree from rolling as it's being cut up. We have vehicle access to the field behind the fence, so all the branches went over and we drove the chipper up to them rather than drag them up the lawn to the drive. I recently bought a 201 rear handle with a 14-inch bar and quarter pitch chain. It's super lightweight, doesn't kick, and also doesn't throw logs about when you're logging up. It's really handy by the chipper as well. I'm sure it could run along a bar without any trouble. Maybe a 16 or an 18-inch Panther. 18 is probably pushing it. But if it's got the beams to run it, the extra reach would make it a great little ground saw. I don't know if it's a better choice than the 261, but I'm happy with it. It's always worth cleaning up gob cuts, making sure there's no Dutchman hiding in there so they fold over nice and land where they're supposed to, even if I do sometimes end up eating sawdust. Here, a narrower gob with a snipe and narrow hinge would have been better. It would have helped the hinge to snap earlier and the branch to hop a little further out and land flat. Often, no fancy rigging is required, and rope on bark friction is enough. The constrictor knot is great for lowering. It relies on a stopper knot, where it can unravel, but it grips the branch tight, even on smooth bark trees like eucalyptus. It's quick and straightforward to tie as well, especially good for smaller branches. We're rigging here to protect the fence. My cutting looks timid here. I'm feeling my way through so the saw doesn't pinch. As I've cut far from the knot, I'm aware the butt end will flick up as the tip falls, so I finish the cut with the pole saw to keep myself out of the way. The real climb of the day is the Scots pine on the left of the shot. It's dead, brittle and wobbly, and it leans towards the road and power lines. A 12-foot pole is being left for bugs and woodpeckers, but we're removing all the overhang and the lean to prevent it falling over. Fortunately, this healthy oak was right next to it, so I could safely set the line to help distribute my weight and keep me stable. I climbed the oak rope over rope. A throw line would have been unsafe because of the road. I also like to inspect every new anchor close up before I trust it with my weight. I tied into the oak as hard as I could before pulling my rope through to the correct side and abseiling down to grab my spikes. I didn't climb the oak with spikes, as it's bad practice to poke holes in a healthy tree. It spreads infection and causes unnecessary injury to the tree. I had wondered if climbing all the way up to the top of the oak was a waste of time, but I would have struggled otherwise, and the pine was wobbly and horrible from the beginning. My spikes didn't sink deep into the wood, and my lanyard slipped on smooth sections where the bark had fallen away. A lot of people, especially old school climbers, flush cut everything on the way up, which overall is better as there's less for ropes to tangle on, falling branches to hang up in, and falling logs to bounce off. I chose to leave stubs here as the tree was skinny and wobbly, and they gave me more stability. I could have made them shorter and tidier though. I was relieved to see the top go. Having it there probably didn't affect anything, as it was so dry and light, but it relieved my irrational fear of the leaf ridge caused by the lean, and meant I didn't have to climb any higher up the skinny dead stick. Branches help stabilise a tree, so as they're removed the tree will feel more and more wobbly. Sometimes it's scary and sometimes it's fun. It completely depends what mood I'm in on the day. Some fear is a good thing. Aside from keeping me sensible, it gives me a boundary to push against and a sense of achievement at the end of the job. The most memorable jobs always make me nervous. The rest of the day was straightforward chogging the trunk down to the desired height, hanger retrieval and tidying up. My helper John was on top of things on the ground, so the end of the day went smoothly.